Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to Rob and Elliott tonight. Coming up on the show, Belfast Whiskey Week is back. I'll be chatting to Paul Kane all about this year's festival. And have you heard about the National Dunking Championships? It is a thing, and I'll be chatting to Dr Helen Pilcher about that a little bit later on. We'll have new music from Stephen Conley and Chrissy Mac, and we'll also find out about an award-winning film about a block of flats in Belfast that's going to open as part of this year's Docs Ireland Festival. It's called The Flats, and I'll be chatting to Jolene Allison-Burns a little bit later on, and we'll find out about the world premiere of The Pirate Queen. But as always, let's begin with some of this week's big news stories. Hang on, my phone is ringing. I'm getting a message through. Kim Kelly, can you believe Daniel O'Donnell is getting in touch with me?
I can.
Really?
But I have a feeling it's not the real Daniel O'Donnell.
Oh, who is it?
It's a scammer. So the police have had to issue a warning. This is only in Ireland, eh?
Yeah.
Daniel O'Donnell, no, not actual Daniel O'Donnell. He hasn't been scamming anyway because he's a lovely boy.
He's
and
a lovely
wouldn't
man, yes.
do that.
Exactly.
So people are using his name to scam money. So you'll get a text or like a Facebook message from what looks like a Daniel O'Donnell site offering you maybe like meet and greet tickets for a certain amount of money. You're laughing. This is serious.
I know, and it is serious because there are people out there who would fall for this.
Of course there are. I mean,
They're dying to have a cup of tea with Daniel.
I'd love to have a cup of tea with Daniel O'Donnell. So if he messaged me, say I was a member of a Daniel O'Donnell kind of fan club, they can go on, like say on Facebook you're like a member of one of their sites.
Yes.
So somebody clones the page.
Yeah.
Friends you all, and
yes.
then sends you out messages going, oh, would you like a meet and greet? Oh, today only, it's 50% off. You PayPal your money over. It's not Daniel O'Donnell. Or they'll get a link to a GoFundMe and it'll be Daniel saying, I'm trying to raise money for my neighbour's son who fell off a horse or something, you know. And people are like, oh yes, and they'll all send, you know, and you think how many fans Daniel has.
But all celebs these days have a little blue tick, so you know they're the real people, don't they?
Yes, but the fan pages...
Are you blue ticked yet?
No, I'm
I
not.
got offered a blue tick the other day. I did, yes.
I'm not blue ticked.
I got an offer.
I wouldn't know. I'm just...
Maybe I was being scammed.
I'm just
Somebody was scamming me.
So be very careful, people. If Daniel O'Donnell messages you, while it is lovely to get
yes.
a message from the king of country,
yeah.
it's probably not real. I mean, we all know that the messages we get from Johnny Depp and stuff aren't real.
Yeah.
Have you ever been? I've been messaged by Johnny Depp before. Well, not actual Johnny Depp,
no,
but they start a conversation with you about how pretty you are and stuff, and how much they like your work, and you're like, actual Johnny Depp likes my work. Okay, right?
Yeah.
He must be bored. Although we are big in the States.
In the States?
This show.
Yeah, this show is massive in California and places like that.
Hi, everybody in California.
What did we do in 24 hours? 34,000 views on YouTube last week.
In California.
Yeah, thank you to all our American viewers out there.
Thank you. But don't get scammed by Daniel O'Donnell. They're going, who's Daniel O'Donnell? Who indeed?
Right, let's move on. What are we talking about next then?
We're going to America to talk about the stupidest thief in the world.
Oh, tell me all about it.
So this man broke into an office block and he was in there. He was, going through the petty cash. He was stealing this, that and the other. He was rampaging because they actually have him on CCTV. However, while he was there, he decided, for some reason, to take a photocopy of his face. Now, don't tell me you've never done that.
Never.
You really haven't worked in many offices.
No, I
have.
I can honestly say I've never worked in an office.
I have, and I've taken a photocopy of my face.
Is that what people do?
In other places.
To pass the time? Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Do you know what put me off working in offices? I'm going to tell you, I've told this story before, but when I used to come in to do the breakfast show in the morning, I would get the first train in the morning. And if you've ever been on an early train with office workers coming to Belfast, it's like Groundhog Day.
Yes.
It's the same thing every morning. They all have their seat on the train, but they all sit and they talk to each other, but they all talk about the same thing. It's all about office politics.
Yes.
It's all about the photocopiers. It's all about, I used to sit and listen to this.
Office politics are terrible.
I went, thank God I don't work in an office.
Well, which leads me nicely to my next story. Okay, so this lady in America, the Americans again, she is currently being done for fraud for the 3rd time for faking a pregnancy. And why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Now, you couldn't do that here because we need a thing called a MAT 3B form, or a MAT, you know what I'm talking about, pregnant ladies. You have this form that you have to hand in to prove you're pregnant, your big bump. You've got to hand in this form because we're not to be trusted. It's like a form you get.
Doesn't the belly give it away enough?
No, well, no, because this lady in America had a belly, a
Yes.
fake belly.
Oh, wow.
So the first time she did it, she came back in with, this long hairy story about her birth, and that was fine, and showed pictures. And then the next one again, she got 7 weeks paid leave, which is a lot in America. They get less than we do.
Yeah.
And so the 3rd time, and apparently the pictures kept changing and the consistency of these stories and who these children were. The 3rd time, apparently her bump kept slipping. And then eventually she gave birth to the 3rd baby, but they soon found out that it wasn't real. So they're actually doing her for fraud, which in America, who knows, you probably end up in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a warning to you all. Don't fake pregnancy to try and get off your boring office job. I love Americans. If it wasn't for Americans, we would have no really fun stories to tell.
Exactly.
Because it mainly is them, isn't it?
And there we go, 3 fun stories to start the show off. Are you looking forward to Paris, the Olympics this year?
I love the Olympic Games because I'm an armchair fan. My favourite is it the modern pentathlon where it's like horse riding, then shooting, then running, and maybe swimming. It's just so random. I don't know, it's just random, but I love it because I always watch it from my armchair going, I could definitely do that.
We got to get one of those people on the show to tell us all about that. In the meantime, Kim Kelly, we'll see you back here same time next week.
Thank you very much.
Right, time for some brand new music, and singer-songwriter Stephen Conley is back with a new track. It's called Have a Shot on Me, Babe. We're going to play the music video now, and if you're a fan of the TV series Blue Lights, you might just recognise the guy who pops up in this music video.
Have a shot on me, babe. You got that look on your face, and I've had that look too. Christ knows I've been blue, but I shake it off, and I shake it off. I wonder who you're talking to, 'cause all I can talk about is you. We've been going, the lights are low, but I know I'll see your face again. But until then, have a shot on me, babe. I'd be inclined to join. I could use the company. I hear you selling cheap, so shake it off. Just shake it off. I can't tell who you're seeing next, but girl, you better believe that I'm tougher than the rest. We've been going, the lights are low, but I know I'll see your face again. until then, have a shot on me, babe. Have a shot on me, babe. Have a shot on me, babe. Just have a shot on me, babe.
So there we go, brand new music from Stephen Conley, and of course Martin McCann from Blue Lights. He was the guy who popped up in the music video. I'll be chatting to Stephen Conley right after these.
Is your child a budding chef? Do you think they could be the next culinary sensation, the rising star young chef of the year? If your child is aged between 10 and 16, this is their chance to shine. Simply send a short video of them cooking their signature dish and telling us a little bit about themselves, along with their details to youngchefni@gmail.com. Entries close June 30th, 2024, so get your child's entry in now.
Heading to the North Coast, the Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
And welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight. Just before the break, we heard a brand new song called Have a Shot on Me from Stephen Conley, and I'm pleased to say he joins us now in the studio. How are you?
Great, Robin. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's been about 2 years since the last time.
About 2 years. I was right before my wedding 2 years ago, if I remember.
It was, yes.
Yeah, same deal. We had a new EP out and a new video, and it's taken 2 years, but a very lot's happened in those 2 years.
It has indeed, and it's safe to say it hasn't been an easy 2 years for you.
Not at all. A whirlwind.
Yeah.
You know. I think the last video we did, you aired it, and it actually aired on the night of my wedding.
Yes, yeah.
So we watched that as a wedding.
Oh, wow.
So we had a lot of people watching. That was good. But yeah, sadly, 6 months after the wedding, my wife passed away.
She was battling cancer, wasn't she?
She was. She battled it a couple of times over the space since COVID started, really, until November 22. Yeah, she spent sort of her last while in the hospice in the Somerton Road, a fantastic place. Yeah, they don't get the funding that they need. You know, they do a fantastic job. Yeah. For not just for the patient, but for the whole family. Even now, after, they do an amazing, and the kids' hospice, amazing. So yeah, to be sure, it shook me, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
I didn't really know what to do, what to go for. I have a cafe in Belfast. It's been about 5 years now. So even with that, I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, I get another job. Well, I don't know what the music was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But then as time rolled on, it got into sort of about a year ago, and I found myself just starting to want to write again. Yeah. Not so much as trying to force myself and like, I need to write something, I need to finish this, even if it's poetry or a video idea or a song. But then it started to flow, and it started to flow songwriting of things that I never usually write about.
Yes, yeah.
Things that would be hard, but it's right almost. Yeah. So it's like a vocation now almost. Yeah.
And you do a lot to keep Sharon's memory alive as well. I know you did this big walk as well to the Carlingford.
Yeah, this will be the 3rd year now.
Right, yeah.
So from Belfast, from my coffee shop in Berry Street to Ma Baker's bar in Carlingford.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
that's a long walk.
It's a long walk.
How long does it take?
It takes about... Well, we'd split it over 2 days.
Right.
So Belfast to Banbridge.
Yeah.
And then overnight in Banbridge, a hotel sponsors us. Then the next morning, about 14 hours straight through Newry, O'Meath, and to Ma Bakers, and they treat us incredibly. They sponsor us as well. They give us a section of the bar, and if you know, it's a small bar, so they don't need to do that, but they do.
But there's bound to be a pint of Guinness or 6 at the end.
Oh, there's a few now. There's a few, but tired feet, you know.
And you're doing it again, are you?
This is the 3rd year. So I did it the first year, and after the first year, obviously the pain the second day, it did not trump the thoughts of, when can we do this again? Let's do it again. Who are we going to do it for this time? So the first year we did it for the hospice. There's 5 of us. Last year there was 16 of us.
Wow.
And so we're actually just starting to get things underway now for planning it for the 3rd year, which will be at the start of July.
And if anybody wants to join you, can they just come along and join you?
It's open to anybody. This year I'm going to do it for the kids' hospice.
Yeah.
Once again, it's part of the hospice, which is not greatly funded, and for the work that they do, they deserve it. Like, you know, yeah.
Let's talk about the new single and the video that we saw just before the break there.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody, in fact, everybody's watched Blue Lights.
Yeah.
So they're going to recognise the guy in that video, aren't they?
Yeah. So
how did you get him?
A lot of emails, a lot of hounding, but no. To be fair, Martin, I think, is one of the best actors to come out of Belfast.
And Blue Lights, one of the best shows ever come out of Belfast as well, isn't it? You know, the writing is so good.
Yeah, I feel like for being from Belfast, we're very self-critical about TV shows. Obviously, you have Line of Duty there, but it's filmed here, but it's not based here. Yeah. But with Blue Lights, it was so authentic, and the storyline, everybody can relate to at least one character in that show. Yeah. And so there was a connection through Sharon again. I think she's blessing me somewhere. Her and Martin would have known each other years ago from growing up around Divis. Yeah. And after the first season of Blue Lights, I basically just got in touch, told him the story, and he had heard. So we started talking back and forth, and I had got maybe half of the EP written and partly recorded at this stage, and I was just thinking about videos, and I was like, it'd be amazing if we could get Martin in here. Yeah. I'd made that tiny connection, and I was like, I need to run with this, and I need to. So that was in September, and then after Christmas, when Blue Lights finished up filming, we got to the start of January, and we started talking again, and we were briefly talking about videos, and then I don't know, he started coming up with ideas, and he was like, I would love to do this. Great. Martin, not only about acting, but Martin really stands up for all arts, all Belfast and Irish-based arts, and he tries to promote, he tries to help in any way, and we did that video in about 2 or 3 hours in my friend's house. Nuala Donnelly, she is my friend's fiance, and she is a fantastic director. Mostly, she works with like the Accidental Theatre and Grand Opera House, and this was the first music video she did. Yeah. And she did a great job. Yeah, obviously, exactly, Martin McCann in your first music, but it was great. And he's such a natural actor, you know. Like we barely had a script for him, and there's scenes in the video where he's looking at a TV screen of an old video cassette, and it's bringing back memories. Like he did that with a blank screen, you know what I mean? And it's amazing. But the song quality, I think it's my best work. Yeah. And as I say, it's been going since August time when I first recorded it. It took me over 6 months to record it, and then the video. So I'm happy it's been out for a week now. Yeah. We got some really good hits on YouTube for the video, really good. And yeah, I'm not up for stopping anytime soon. I feel like I'm just starting to get another flavour of it again. Brilliant.
What about long-term goals? What's the hopes, the plans? Or?
Well, the younger I was, the more embarrassed I probably was about actually speaking about your goals and about speaking what you want to do. I think the older that you get, it's not that you stop caring what people think, it's more important to you. So you don't care what people think, because...
I mean, you've been through what you've been through in the past 2 years. You kind of realise what's important to you, don't you?
Yeah, of course. And I feel like that shows in the songwriting, in the lyrics, and just in the time I've taken to not rush things, which I've done in the past. Like I've been playing just bands in school for 18 years now, you know, and I do feel like this is my best work. Yeah, I'm excited.
So we've got 2 EPs to look forward to then.
One EP that's out now, and I have another EP that's nearly recorded now. It's a small instrumentation I need to add to it. Excellent. and then hopefully another video, you know.
Brilliant.
So it's an exciting time, but I just must remind myself not to slow down.
Yeah.
It's far too easy to stop.
Exactly,
you know,
yes,
you know.
yeah.
As Van Morrison said, it's too late to stop now.
Indeed.
You know?
Now, how are you going to top that last video? That's, you know, you're going to have to
Oh,
give
I
us
know,
some pretty special
I know.
ideas, or who are you going to get to appear in the next
I'm gonna
one?
have to start emailing Liam Neeson or something, you know. But oh no, there'll be something in the back pocket. There'll be something there, you know.
Brilliant. Well, as always, Stephen, it's good to see you.
Well,
thank you for
very
coming
much
in,
for having
and
us,
the
Robin.
best of luck.
And all the support. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Right, time for something completely different now. We're going to find out about the National Dunking Championships. They happened recently, and here's a clip. Jump! So that was the National Dunking Championships that took place in London recently. It is a thing, and to explain more, I'm pleased to say Dr Helen Pilcher, who is the McVitie's Chief Dunking Officer, joins us now. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So this thing actually exists. We're not having a laugh. This is real.
It's absolutely real. So, you know, dunking biscuits is something that everybody loves to do, but it's a very sort of solo endeavour, very solitary sometimes. So in the run-up to National Biscuit Day today, we held a National Dunking Championship in London last week, and we devised a whole kind of like dunking competition with its specific rules. There are things you have to do very, very precisely to turn dunking into this competitive sport. And then we crowned our dunking champion, a guy called Simon from London, who got through several rounds of dunking and out dunking his opponents to win, to lift the coveted trophy. It was very, very exciting.
Okay, talk us through the contest then. What do they have to do and how difficult is it?
So the great news is, right, that this is a really, really easy, fun thing to do. You just need a hot beverage of your choice, a biscuit, your favourite biscuit, and a friend with their drink and their favourite biscuit. That's all you need. So it's really lovely. This is something we want to get everybody trying at home or over tea breaks, you know, in the office. And basically, the rules are that you have to dunk your biscuit in your drink. You both dunk at the same time. And then for every second that your biscuit remains in the drink, you get a point. But if the biscuit breaks when you take it out, all those points disappear. You get 0 points. So really, this is a game of biscuit jeopardy. It's as much about your knowledge of the biscuit as it is about psychology and psyching out your opponent, because you want to keep the biscuit in there as long as you can, longer than your opponent, but you don't want to risk breaking that biscuit when it comes out. So it's got to stay intact for 2 seconds when you take it out. And then if you do that over like 2 or 3 rounds, the winner with the most points at the end is the person who wins. And you can kind of mix things up by changing the drink, changing the biscuit, and it's a really fun, joyous game to play, because you don't need to be an athlete. You just have to like biscuits. It's beautiful. But this is all down to your kind of listeners to experiment with, to get their favourite. And we're hoping to go big with this. What we're hoping is that in years to come, this competition will grow into something of, you know, an all-inclusive national sport. That's where we're going with this. We want to get everybody involved going forwards over the next few years.
Okay, well, I'm going to put it out there on the TV show this evening that we should run the Northern Ireland heats, and we'll get it all televised and everything.
Oh yes, we would love that.
And I think people would really be up for this. People like Kim Kelly, who's on this show, I reckon she would love to have a go.
Yeah, well, what do you think your favourite biscuits would be in Northern Ireland? What do you think people would go for?
Now, I think they would go for the more traditional type of biscuit, the more plain stuff like a rich tea or digestive or something. But you know the answer to this. So what is the most popular biscuit then?
Over here, I'd have to go back and check on my data. I can't remember, but I'm sure you're probably right. And if you go with something, something classic, let's say, like a rich tea or a digestive, these are quite high-risk biscuits because they're absorbing from both sides, from all angles, and they're quite porous. So the liquid gets drawn in quite quickly by capillary action. So if you put those in a dunk-off, like we did in our competition, you can't kind of like try and phase out your opponent for too long. You can't keep them immersed for too long because they will crumble much, much more quickly. And that's kind of, as I say, the beauty of this sport is this mix of sort of psychology and psyching somebody out with eye contact and body language, but knowing your biscuit too, because you can't psych somebody out too much and, run the risk of a crumble, a dunking disaster. So it's really a beautiful mix of the molecular science of biscuits and psychology, crowd psychology, brings it all together. It's brilliant.
Exactly. Now, Simon Gurma, he's the guy from North London. He's the current champion. He's the guy to beat, isn't he?
He's the guy to beat, and it was bums on the edge of seat because at the end of the first 3 rounds, Simon and his opponent in the final were neck and neck. They had exactly the same amount of points. So it came down to a sudden dunking death, where as head judge, I was allowed to pick the biscuit. We went for the ginger nut, which is another kind of high-risk biscuit. And they had like a high-risk sudden death dunk-off. And Simon just pipped it on that. It was classic, textbook, skillful, beautifully judged psychology and dunking coming together in this perfect moment, and then the whole place just erupted when he won. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, Helen, we need to make this happen. It's been great talking to you. I have to say, one of the best interviews of the year. Thank you so much for joining us.
I love talking to you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so from the National Dunking Championships to a film all about a block of flats in Belfast that gets its big premiere as part of this year's Docks Ireland Festival. We'll chat to Jolene Burns all about the flats right after these.
Do you know a mighty woman who has made a significant impact in her community or profession? Share her story today. Nominate now for the Mighty Women Big Lunch 2024, which is taking place at the fabulous Titanic Hotel Belfast on June 23rd. To nominate someone deserving of recognition, simply email mightywomenlunch@gmail.com. Please include your nominee's contact details and explain why she should be part of this incredible event. Let's celebrate women who make a difference. Join us at the Mighty Women Big Lunch.
Here we are on the North Coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. Can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Yes!
Well, and welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight. Next up, we're going to find out all about an award-winning film that's going to be opening this year's Docks Ireland Festival. It's called The Flats, and it's all about the New Lodge area of Belfast. And here's a clip.
Oh, Father, why are you so sad on this bright Easter morn, when Irishmen are proud and glad of a land where they were born?
So what are we then? Nothing. How are we Irish if we have a British passport?
But you can be British
And then
or
we're
Irish.
not allowed
I have an
we're not
Irish
allowed any.
passport.
Don't know why I'm British
Now
or
you know
Irish.
you're
Now
fully
you tell me I'm Irish.
Fully Irish. You were born on this island, the island of Ireland.
So that's a little clip from the film The Flats. Jolene Burns is one of the actors who's appearing in it, and I'm pleased to say she joins us now in the studio. How are you?
I'm good, Robin.
Thank you for joining us. So,
thank you for having me.
For people who are watching this in England, tell us about the New Lodge Flats then. People would have seen them in the Rihanna music video, We Found Love, wouldn't they?
That was a #1 hit as well. And I was actually living in the New Lodge at that time. So when I was living there, I seen her out the back when I was doing the dishes in the kitchen. I looked out and there she was out my window. I was so cool. And now here's me acting in the New Lodge.
And you're now in those flats as well?
Yes. It's actually, do you know what, Robin? It's been a real mad experience. There's been ups, there's been downs, people's been crying, people's been happy. There's a lot of emotion. There's been 10 years being put into this documentary.
Wow.
10 years, and it's basically about the flats of the New Lodge and like how the trauma from the war in Northern Ireland. Years ago there was a lot of troubles and people were left traumatised, and it's showing you like so many years after, like their families, regenerations of their grandkids, their children, how people have been affected by it. And it's basically Joe talking about his story of Coke, his uncle Coke. He was shot by the Shankill Butchers and he had to watch that when he was 9. So he was traumatised for all these years, and he's actually got the experience now to show people of the way he lived in his life.
So obviously it's still important that people share those stories of their past, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, North Belfast there's a lot of people that are suicidal, mental health issues, and it's getting worse, Robin. And a documentary to be able to show people how people are actually living. People think, oh, it's just someone that lives in the flats, but that person has lived traumatised and maybe has drink and everything else to cope with his life. And it shows you as well, like me acting him as his mum whenever he was a wee boy, and how he felt. He was telling a story till the girl who was the counsellor. He told a story to the counsellor throughout the whole film, and we reenacted his memories. And then I got to do a bit on myself as well, where my sister is now in a hospital bed and she's dying through drugs. She's left in a hospital bed, she can't talk, she can't walk, she can't eat, she can't do anything. So, and she's been like that for 6 years, and it's all down to drugs. And it's like people in our communities are just handing drugs out and giving people drugs, selling drugs, all for money, Robin, and we really need it out. We need the drugs to go.
So being involved in a project like this, it must have been an emotional roller coaster for you guys.
Oh, it's been crazy. It's been crying, laughter, a lot of tears, a lot of joy. I've got to actually experience a lot through my music. And I've met Alexandra 10 years ago through a film called John the Bookseller of Belfast. And she filmed me then. I was working in a cafe, and she came along, and at that time I was doing the Tea Factor, and she filmed us together.
That's what I was going to say, because I know you from singing in the pubs and clubs over the years.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. How did you get involved in the project?
So she came then, and she was filming a guy called John Clancy, and he came into the cafe for food, and I was cooking the food, and she was like, oh, she found out that I could sing and asked me, oh, could you be in my film? And then from then she always says, oh, I'm going to do more filming with you. And she just came back 10 years later and was like, I need to have you in this film, because I lived in the New Lodge, and I know a lot of people in the New Lodge, and all the people who's in the film I already knew. So I've got to experience like all different ages, and just seeing how people are traumatised. Like, I never knew much about the Troubles myself. I knew that there was Troubles and ratting and people out throwing petrol bombs and all different things, but there was never, I was more heading away from that with my family, being protective. But just to actually get to write all the songs, I've wrote most of the songs with the producer of the film. During the film, as the film was getting made, usually people would write the songs after, but we were writing them during them, because the words were coming to us, and being able to actually write songs and music and create a great documentary out of it at the end. A lot of people will be able to see what Northern Ireland has been going through and what's been left in people's lives.
We actually have a clip of your song from the film, so let's take a look. Here's Jolene.
Hoping in darkness, the pain of the earth on me is tearing me down, but I will be alright. I come back stronger, I come back stronger than before. It is just the way we are.
So there we go, a fabulous song, and I know that's not just it. There's many more songs in you as well. You're writing away like crazy, aren't you?
I wrote a song about my sister in it as well, and I get to sing called "The Girl That Was My Rock." So it's basically just us as we were kids growing up, and called bunk bed, knickers, socks and shoes. So it shows you a bit like how me and her were so close, and how things were great, and growing up and just being together, and it was beautiful. And now it's not as great. We're just left for memories, and being able to watch her suffer as well. It's been hard to put that into a documentary, but right now I'm focusing on just watching it and seeing people's reactions. I got to go to Copenhagen and seeing the first film festival, which it won the award.
And are they getting the Belfast accent?
We had the
subtitles
on the screen, yes. And to see people's reactions and people coming over and saying, oh my God, like I had other producers take my hand and be saying to me like, oh, you're just amazing, you poured your heart out into that film, and like we really relate to you, and like I'm more an inspiration to women.
Yeah.
To women, so it's more about trauma. The parts I speak about in the film is about me like being with an abusive partner years ago, and how it left me, and how I was still going through other people are going through the same thing, and I was realizing I'm not alone, and it's okay. You can still grow up and still try and move on and do things for yourself.
So by doing this, has this been like a cathartic experience for you? Has this made you been able to move on as well?
It has, yes. Well, at times it's been hard, and like through the film I was probably at my worst moments of what is going on in my life, and being able to actually put it into a film and talk about it, it's almost like therapy as well. So you get both parts, the good parts and the bad parts.
If people want to see it in Belfast, it's being shown on the opening night of Docs Ireland, isn't it?
It's been shown on June the 18th in the Odyssey, so in the cinemas, but they're actually talking about maybe getting a bigger cinema because the tickets are selling out fast.
Yeah.
So people are buying like 10 tickets at one time instead of buying one or two.
People want to go and see it, don't they? They
Yes.
want to support their own.
Well, it's actually good because a lot of people want to know what is in the film, and a lot of people have seen it's getting awards, it's getting shown all around the world, all around Europe, and basically like, people just want to see it on the screen, and they're all dying to see it. So obviously the tickets only came out a few days ago and they're almost sold out, so it's great.
And what about people from the New Lodge area? How are they going to react when they see this on the big screen then?
Well, that's a hard one. I'm nervous myself, but I think, do you know what? It's actually a good thing for the New Lodge, because people put the New Lodge down as a bad place and, oh, don't go near that place. And it's not, Robin. It's just people living normal lives. We might have poverty around Northern Ireland and Belfast, and there's poverty all over the world, but we're not like poverty. We're just normal human beings who get up and try and get a job and go to work. Some mightn't because of their traumas.
So you've explained who you are, where you fit in as well. Tell us about the counsellor, Rita.
So Rita's came on, she's a befriending counsellor from Pips, and she basically helps me and Joe throughout the film. She is our counsellor outside the film. So being able to have somebody, a befriend counsellor, is someone that can actually hug you instead of going to a counsellor that just talks to you and lets you go. She actually becomes your friend. And the support you get from her throughout everything, I think it's opened up a lot of trauma in all of our lives. So she's helped us all open up and be able to speak about what we've been through, and knowing that it's not been a hard experience where you're traumatized by even speaking to people about it. Now we're actually talking about it on TV. Only for her help. She is an absolute angel.
And just for people watching this in England as well, PIPS is a charity here that do so much for suicide awareness, don't they?
Yes, it's it's here in Belfast. It's a charity, and people can just walk in if they feel suicidal or they feel depressed, or they're always there for you. You can just walk into it. You don't even need an appointment. So it's actually really helpful if anybody ever does feel down or has mental health issues to maybe contact PIPS, because I am with another counsellor myself at the minute through Women's Aid, and I feel like the PIPS counsellor does help me an awful lot more.
And it is needed here because for such a small city, such a small country here in Northern Ireland, we have this horrendous suicide problem, don't we?
We do. It's happening all under our eyes. It's happening just every week, or someone else. And friends, I've had family, I've known friends and family all around, and it's just all around Belfast. It's horrible. There needs to be more help, and PIPS is the place to go.
Yeah. Well, Jolene, thank you for coming in. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
And the best of luck with the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So from music to theatre now, and we're going to find out about a brand new production. In fact, it's a world premiere. It's called The Pirate Queen from Green Room Productions, and I'm pleased to say the director and one of the actors in the show, Patsy and Adam from the show, join us in the studio. Guys, welcome. This all looks like good fun, doesn't it?
It's a lot of fun, yes. Are you having fun, Adam? I think, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, rehearsals look like they're going really well. So tell us, what can we expect from The Pirate Queen then?
Yeah, you're right. It's a really, really playful show. The show was designed for grandparents and grandchildren to come together and enjoy something at the weekends when they're visiting each other. But it's kind of become bigger than that, and it's for all ages. There's a bit of music, there's a bit of comedy, there's a bit of history, there's kind of something for everyone. And the most exciting thing for me is that it's set on these pirate ship play parks. So they were built a few years ago for play parks for children, right on the coast, on the beach. So when do you get to see a show on a pirate ship play park?
Yeah, Adam, for me that would be the most exciting thing. You've actually got your own pirate ships there.
It's hard to sell as work, really, to be honest with you. I'm jumping about the ship and getting to sing and act, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Tell us about the story, because from the historical side, people will know the name Grace O'Malley, won't they?
Yeah, and I did too. I knew and heard of Grace O'Malley being a pirate queen, but I didn't know much about her life. And this really makes it accessible for kids and kind of takes us through that period of history of how she became the pirate queen. And it's fascinating, and it's rich in storytelling, and yeah, it's just great fun.
As a director, Patsy, it must have been good for you to research this.
Yeah, it's been brilliant actually, and we've been working with our writer Claire McMahon, and she's been fantastic. She did a lot of research on the history, and I suppose approaching it as a director, it's kind of different for me as a mother now as well, visiting this idea of this real kind of hero figure that's a woman. I have a daughter that's 7 years old, and it's something that I would want her to go and see. So I love telling her this story. So the chance to tell more children is going to be beautiful, I think.
Adam, tell us about the character that you're playing then.
We multi-role in this show. So there's 3 actors, and we don't hide that. We are a group of storytellers that have arrived in the town to tell this story of Grace O'Malley. And so you'll see us switch in and out of being the narrator and telling the audience a piece of information and then jumping back into the action again. So it's dynamic and yeah, just a great storytelling piece.
So is this good fun then for all the family to come and enjoy?
I think so. I do think so. I think it does have a little bit of everything. I mean, the music is gorgeous in itself, you know. It really touches upon kind of those really lovely Irish traditional music with kind of sea shanties all kind of interwoven. We've got some gorgeous actor musicians. They're really talented. But again, I think, and I think people are going to hear those songs and remember things from the past, you know, and we're going to introduce those songs to our babies. Wow. So I think everyone is kind of going to get snippets, and there's a lot of audience participation in this. Not too much, so don't be scared. But, you know, just, it's a very playful show, you know, and there's not often a chance you get to see that, so it's fun.
So you're taking this show to two of Northern Ireland's probably best known seaside locations. You've had 1 week already in Ballywalter, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic, and we've loved the response from the community. It's really brilliant. We're looking forward to come to Mile now next. We're hoping for the same response. We're in the 15th and 16th of June, and we're near enough on the hour every hour, 11 a.m, 1 p.m, 2 p.m, 3 p.m, and 4 p.m.
And for an actor, Adam, it's great to get out of the normal, typical theatre setting as well and do something a bit different, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And theatre should be accessible for everybody, and so we are bringing it to them. And you can watch this in your local park, which is just a great ethos to have. And for an actor, it's a great challenge. There are no lights, there are no microphones. It's you telling a story in a very raw and natural way. We come from an island of storytellers historically, so it feels very apt to be doing it now.
Well, in the meantime, the very best of luck with the Pirate Queen. If people want to book tickets, give us the website details again.
Yeah, so it's www.greenroomproductionsni.org.uk, and we are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're just at Green Room NI.
Brilliant. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, still to come, we got music from Chrissy Mac, and we'll find out about this year's Belfast Whiskey Week right after these.
Let the good times roll at Super Strikes at the Jet Centre. You can now book your lane online. We've got 14 bowling lanes and 4 mini bowling lanes. Plus we serve delicious hot food and snacks, or enjoy a cold beverage with your food after the game. Discover bowling today at the Jet Centre. Jet Centre. Entertainment for everyone.
So Belfast Whiskey Week is back in July, and as always, it's good to see the man behind it all, Paul Kane, who joins us in the studio. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Robin. Thank you.
So another year has gone by since your last sitting there, and it's just my imagination, or has whiskey got even bigger since last year? We're seeing distilleries opening, we're seeing everybody's got their brand of whiskey out there now. It seems to have taken off more each year as goes by.
Yeah, no, without doubt. I mean, we're now 2 distilleries in Belfast, so this year alone we've added to doubled in size of our distilleries. So McConnell's has come on board, and we had Titanic there last year. So yeah, in the north we're now up to about 17 whiskey brands, which is pretty impressive.
And this is like taking us way back in time, because Belfast was known for its whiskey way back, wasn't it?
It was a whiskey mecca,
yeah.
the whiskey mecca of the world, and where 70% of whiskey came from and was distributed around to America, and obviously down to Australia and all around the Commonwealth at that point. So yeah, we're not there yet. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be back at back to those points. But having so many distilleries now, and particularly in County Down, so many distilleries making really good Irish whiskey, it's just great to see.
We even had Jean-Claude Van Damme in Belfast recently launching his whiskey.
Yeah,
like, that's serious stuff as well, isn't it?
Do you know what? I said this at the time. It's impressive when someone of that magnitude, someone who generally is like a superstar, Hollywood A-lister, chooses Irish whiskey to be a whiskey that he wants to promote and wants to be part of. And it's not called Jean-Claude Van Damme whiskey, which is really interesting. He's not stamped his name on it, but he's behind it, and he's choosing Irish whiskey out of all the whiskies around the world. And obviously there's whiskey on his doorstep, and he's chosen to come across to Ireland. So that is interesting, and it just shows the prominence of Irish whiskey.
Question must come up all the time: Irish or Scottish whiskey? What's it going to be?
Yeah, and I've been here long enough to realise that if I said Scots, I would get, frowned at. No, Irish whiskey is special, and we've got a distinct style of whiskey. So Irish whiskey is defined as being really pot still whiskey or single malt. And I think Scotland really is known for the blends and for the single malts, but this pot still, this belonging to pot still and single malt Irish whiskey, super. And they're 2 different tastes, but they rival whiskey from around the world. There's no doubt that the whiskies we have here are beyond shadow of a doubt some of the best tasting whiskies that the planet's ever seen. That's a fact.
Talk us through some of the highlights this year. We can start with the Whiskey Expo, which is something very big, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Whiskey Expo is really good. It's a great opportunity for people to come and see all the brands who are involved during the festival. So we've got lots of brands there, and you get to walk around, get to taste all their different whiskies. It's just it's a melting pot for people to come and socialise and meet the brands. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you meet the distillers, the people who are making the stuff. So yeah, we've always got distillers on hand, people to talk about the whiskies. But yeah, it's a good one. There's two sides to the food aspect of the festival. One is about the collaborations. So yeah, we've got food collaborations with O Donuts, and they make us 6 bespoke donuts every year. So we have the whiskies and the donuts. We can do the pairings. We've got chocolates from 2 different chocolatiers this year. We've got Jerry from Chocolate Manor, who's doing a box of 4 bespoke chocolates for our awards dinner, and we've also working with Martin from Daisy's, who's creating some bespoke truffles for us, and we've already tasted some of them already in some of our launch events, and they are phenomenal. And then we're doing a thing with Gemma Austin. She's creating 2 patisseries for us with some of the brands as well. But there's also the whiskey and food pairings, or the dinners. Yeah. There's some fine dining experiences, so we're doing some really good dinners this year. We're taking over a neighbourhood cafe around the corner every day this week, this year, and it's going to be mini takeovers in different restaurants. So Hula Hands, we've got a couple of events there. We're working with Johnny Stevenson out of the Deer's Head. People who really want to showcase their food. It's not about creating new menus per se, although some of them are doing that, but it's about taking what they're really good at and interjecting with whiskey. Allowing whiskey to be part of those meals. Morning Star did it really well last year, and again, we'll do it well this year, no doubt. So, no, we're very lucky. Food is good. Food is part of it. And I think, I don't know, Robin, but if you ever go to a festival of any description, things that you take away from it is good crack, good fun, meeting people, socialising. But it's food, and it's, maybe it's music, maybe it's dance, maybe it's whatever it is. But, our conduit to the whole thing's whiskey. Yeah. But food's a major part of a festival, I think,
Definitely, yeah.
And you need, so every day we've got between the hours of 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the evening, lots of food opportunities.
Brilliant. And for whiskey lovers, the good thing is this show is going to be covering it extensively this year as well, so we'll be able to see everything that's going on throughout the week.
We will definitely be filming the vast majority of this. If we can get 100 events filmed, super. But we intend to film as much as possible. People can see it, and we've got a great external audience, not just for people from here who come to the festival, but we do attract people from around the world, and we do have a lovely online following. So even for them to see it, and again, the main aim of the festival is to bring people to Belfast, experience the whiskey heritage and the legacy that we have here and what we're creating. So this idea of taking people from the city, take them out to distilleries, so if it's going out to Ecklinville or Shotcross or Cologne or Copeland or the 2 local ones here, or again up to Bushmills, whatever we're doing, if we're taking people from the city out to explore whiskey distilleries. And again, it's a major partner of our whiskey tourism. People need to embrace that, and I think locally people do embrace it. It's just about bringing in people in from outside of Belfast, outside of Northern Ireland, to experience that culture that we're creating here. And it is something new. You harken back 5-6 years, we didn't have distilleries or active, tourist, distilleries. So it's great to see the guys in Newry, down 2 Stacks, and the guys down in Cologne, down in Warren Point, Rostrevor direction. But there's an extensive amount of people doing cool pieces of work, and we've got 2 brand new ones about to be built this year going into next, and that's Glenzavantram and Limavady are both going to get their own distilleries. So again, these are functioning distilleries with tourist attractions.
What we'll do, we'll get you back in here the week before, so you can update us on what's happening before the festival. But in the meantime, if they want to book their tickets, how do they go about doing that?
All tickets are booked through our website, so it's belfastwhiskeyweek.com. There's an opportunity to buy individual tickets, but you can also buy a day pass. So if you want to come for the day, you can select 4 events throughout the day and come and enjoy yourself. So it's pretty user friendly. Prices range from about £15 up to about £100. So there's nothing more than £100. That's the most expensive. We're trying to make it as affordable, and as accessible as possible.
Sounds fascinating. The best of luck for the festival, and thanks for coming in, Paul.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. So that's all we have time for on the show this week. To play us out, something from singer Chrissy Mac. He's going to be supporting Daniel O'Donnell at a very special show in Killarney on the 17th of June. And here's his current single. This is called Diamond Dreams. We'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.
We own these streets like we're royalty, with empty pockets and worn out jeans. Living our lives like we're kings and queens. We're running wild on these diamond dreams. I got a fast car, most days it don't stop, but that paint shines just like new. And I got dumb friends, but man I love them, 'cause there ain't a thing for me they won't do. We always talk about how we'll get out, but really we're happy just hanging around. We own these streets like we're royalty, with empty pockets and worn out jeans. Living our lives like we're kings and queens. We're running wild on these diamond dreams. Wild on these diamond dreams. We got a mansion, it's made of apartments, and you'll find me in 23A. I climb through the rooftop, forget what we don't got. Yeah, we wouldn't have it any other way.